So next, we're going to have Luca De Giglio. Where is Luca? He's right there. You have your microphone? Fantastic. And did I get that correctly? Giglio. Giglio. It's not Giglio. So you're right here. There you go.
Okay, I don't actually have more than many slides. Yeah, I changed a bit the presentation. I'm here to present our startup, which is basically an alternative to Airbnb on the blockchain. But since this is a technology about freedom and liberty, I said, okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about my life, because one of the main, object of this conference is how technology is making our lives kind of enslaving us in many ways, and how we can, with technology, get a solution, right? For instance, with Bitcoin. And in my life, I had the same thing. I was, working in a company, and then about 20 years ago, I quit and I went traveling to Australia and Asia for a year. And the idea was to stay, one gap year, go back to work, and get on with my life. And I have never gone back. So it's been 20 years that I didn't work for a company, basically. And what really changed my life was technology. It was in Sydney. I bought a digital camera, one of the first one with a floppy disk. So I had this cutting-edge technology. And it was really cutting edge at the time. It was very expensive, and I was very proud of it. And the pictures were like this. And in a Sydney internet cafe, I learned to program in HTML. There was this internet cafe where you pay $2 and you can stay as long as you want. But if you stand up and you go to the toilet, you lose your seat. So there were many people writing on a computer and wanting to go to the toilet. But I learned HTML. So HTML plus digital camera, I was able to do blogs before the blogs existed, right? I used to call it travel reports. And I was writing my things online in Italian, and I was like one of the few people traveling. People were reading, and I kind of became a little bit famous in Italy about this. And I understood how technology, when it's almost ready for mainstream, but not ready yet, not WordPress yet, not Facebook yet. You still need to do a little bit of effort, right? There's a little bump on the road. 99% of people stop. And if you make this little effort, you are ahead of the others. The same thing is happening with blockchain today, right? So I have learned this. My year in Asia and Australia ends. I go back to Italy, and I decide that I want to go back to an office because I wanted to travel all my life. I wanted to travel full time. So I really thought hard what to do to make money while traveling. And I had this idea because in the 90s, I used to travel around Eastern Europe, especially Czech Republic and Poland. And I remember that when I got by train to Prague, there were these ladies coming with pictures and offering apartments, right? And I had used them, they were great, so I decided to put them online, to do a website. So I went to Prague, I printed a fake business card with Italian travel agency. I went to the railway station and I said, well, I am a travel agency, I want to put your apartments online. And they go like, what is online? I said, the internet. Yeah, I heard about it. That was 2001. And how are you going to send me customers? I'm going to send you an email. What is email? Okay, I'm going to send you an SMS. So basically, I dragged them into the internet space, and I started sending them customers. Were very easy to get first in Google at the time, very easy. So I got 6 apartments in Prague, and I started getting bookings. Then I went to Budapest, Krakow, and I went up to Tallinn. By the time in 2 years I got to Tallinn, I had enough money to travel. Okay, that was 2003. And from 2003, I was traveling full time, like 11 months a year. Actually, in 2004, I quit it. I gave it to my brother, and I went for a around the world trip for a year. Okay. Now, when I tell this story, especially when I tell this story in the startup environment, people go like, "This is Airbnb before Airbnb. This guy is cool." And then a minute later, this is Airbnb before Airbnb. This guy is an idiot. He lost the chance. I was 6 or 7 years before Airbnb, right? But as you understand, I cannot say I don't, I don't regret it. A bit, I regret it. But at the same time, what I wanted to do was to travel, and I did for many, many years. Until in 2009, Airbnb came. I was in Siberia, where I went to find the best coders to develop my platform in a proper way, because before it was done by a Chinese guy and then myself, it was horribly done. So I raised some money from some people who want to help. I go to Siberia, I start developing this new kind of booking platform, and then Airbnb pops up on my screen, and I go like, okay, this is Silicon Valley getting my market. And then I go like in denial and I say, yeah, but they're charging customers for commissions. That will never work. I remember saying that in Novosibirsk. That will never work. 2 years later, I was out of job. My business went down and my money was going down, 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 almost broke. And I decided to pivot because some of my hosts, we used to call them owners, said, Luca, you're not sending me customers anymore. I said, of course, you haven't seen Airbnb, you haven't seen Booking.com? He said, no, I don't know, help me. So we started putting these apartments on Airbnb and all the other platforms for them, and started picking speed. So we decided to do a startup. We did a startup, we looked for money. We found it here, so with 11 fund. So we came to Sofia, and that's why we are still here. And but that was horrible, because we were working, it was nice for a while, then it got horrible. We were working, helping hosts to get on Airbnb. And for the first 3 years, everybody was happy. But then you know what platforms do, right? They drag you in, they make you happy, and then they start sucking all the money out. And today's Airbnb, from the host point of view, is people are very angry. They feel they are the new proletarians. They're working hard. They're bringing the apartment. They're bringing the work. They have no holiday, no security. You could get an email from Airbnb at any time telling you're out. You can ask me why. You're just out, and we cancel all your bookings, and you are zero. You have a family you have a few apartments, and you have a family to feed. You are zero, like zero protection. So that was like 2 years ago. People came out, started getting out of the Airbnb dream, the community thing. Everybody is happy, and we love each other. And the platform came out, the business came out, right? And that was a good moment to tell people, guys, we have to do something for ourselves. And at the same time, I got involved in Bitcoin in 2013, but then in 2017, for the first time, I heard about Ethereum and the DAO concept, the fact that you can build companies which are not companies, but they are like a community effort. And immediately I said, let's do the Airbnb on the blockchain. That was before the ICO craze. I decided to write a white paper, but don't go for the ICO, to do it properly, to involve community. So I started writing and talking to Italians, because that's the people I could actually reach, to do our own, let's say, Airbnb on the blockchain. And we wrote this white paper together. It was a 4-month effort, and it's actually a very well-written white paper. It's in English too. If you are in the space, I suggest you to read it. It's really well thought of. And by the time we were ready with that, ICOs were dead. So after the ICO were dead, you go like, okay, let's raise money for a private, everybody's going through, let's raise money through a private sale, and then there's a crypto winter and there's no more money for private sales. So, okay, let's just go on with our money or raise money internally. And what we did, we raised money internally. We raised just 20K. And with this money, we are now talking about the project, and we decided to not to build everything from the beginning, because there are very good companies building layers, protocols. By protocols, I mean free software like email, SMTP, FTP, HTTP. So we chose a company in California, which is Origin Protocol. They're building these open protocols for the sharing economy. And we haven't written a line of code. We will write code when these protocols are stable, and is a good moment to start developing our own features. So we are now a community of about 400 or 500 people. We have already uploaded a few apartments in a beta test. It's running on the Ethereum mainnet, so it's actually not a test anymore. At the 1st of May, we started putting apartments. We have about 50 or 60 apartments right now. Every single apartment is, when you are a host, there's 5 minutes missing? Okay, so every single apartment is vetted by the community. Not everybody is accepted, so the community decides which ones go in, which one not, because the good ones. We only want the good ones. And so I'm here today to suggest you, to help you, to ask you, please book an apartment in Italy with us. You will be one of the first, and I'll show you a few of them. So that's the website. It's really beta. It's not ready with everything, but you can actually book. That's an apartment in Florence where I actually stayed. And there's a smart contract. You don't give the money to us, you put it on the Ethereum network, and then you release it to the host after you've been there and you like the place. So I just show you a few apartments. I told the host, if we go out with the same price of Airbnb and Booking, people will go in Airbnb and Booking because it's just better, it's easier. People want the easy way. Let's do something so people are, they do the extra effort. So we got all these apartments are real apartments with very good reviews in the OTAs, in Airbnb and Booking with real discounts. So this apartment actually costs 317 euro and you're gonna pay 190. This is Florence. This is Venice, so you're gonna pay 470 instead of 784. This is, again, I guess, Venice, okay? This is some lake. I've never been in close to Milan, but the place looks great. This is Rome, so instead of 889 is 445, and this is Milan, instead of 269 is 161 euro, and this is the last one, was that the other day, and it's 259, 2 minutes, finish, I'm done. So basically that's it. I suggest you to go on the website, this is TripsCommunity.com, and you can get these apartments. So for your next holiday in Italy, if you have Ether, that's one option for you, and I'm done. We got 2 minutes for questions? Or one?
No, we have.
Great.
We have plenty of time for questions.
Oh, all right, okay.
So this is fantastic. So I know where I'm going on my next holiday, right? I'm going to Italy and I'm going to book it on your website. Do you offer other destinations at the moment?
For now, thank you. For now, we focus on Italy because it's easy to reach the host. We have somebody in Spain too, but yeah, for the beginning, it's
If you want to do a beta in Sofia or somewhere in Bulgaria, Plovdiv, Burgas, I mean, here's the, there, we have a candidate right there.
Okay, cool.
let's get a couple of questions from the audience. Question at the back. This is an interesting one. That's a question from our cameraman.
Oh, okay.
Hi. Hi. So except that I'm a cameraman, I have also 2 apartments in Airbnb.
Okay.
And I'm working with them for almost 4 years already.
Okay.
And I have several questions. First of all, how do you think you can beat websites like Airbnb and Booking.com? You will need a lot of money for marketing. Second question is, I don't know, I'm also a crypto holder, and I prefer not to give away my ethers and to hold them. Yeah. So how do you expect other crypto holders to use their ethers, for example, to book places? And third one, the competition in this business is pretty tough already. For example, in Sofia, right now there are more than 2,500 apartments, and many of them are empty. So, I don't know, there are not enough tourists, and it's not only in Sofia like that. So, how do you think
excellent questions, excellent questions. So how do you convince the hodlers? And what do you do about competition marketing?
Right. So first of all, how do we beat Airbnb Booking? We won't beat them. That's not the idea. We want to create one alternative. And what's going to happen in this space is there's going to be many alternatives like our project, because this is open source software, and you can create an instance of something like Trips in a minute. So we are working in an environment which allows replication of many models. You're going to have thousands like Trips. They're all interconnected through this one identity model, which is the ER725. Okay, so we expect a lot of innovation. There's a misconception about Airbnb, especially that it's an innovative company. It's been innovating for a while. Now they are a closed source. I mean, there will be a closed source. You can't innovate in this space because all the data is in these OTAs. So we want to be part of something which is going to be bigger and bigger. We're not going to do as Trips any revolution. Okay, that was a question. Then the
hodlers,
the volatility hodlers. Yeah, I agree. The same. There was, I think this conference you could pay in Bitcoin, or another one it was I paid in fiat because why would I touch my Bitcoin? Well, we added a layer of credit cards. We don't like it, but I know we have to do it. So if you want to pay with the credit cards, you pay the credit cards. It's centralized in this case. There's a company behind, and it's 3% more. But still, out of 40% is fine. So yeah, credit cards and stable coins. There's DAI integrated. So when stable coins become more widespread and people actually hold them, you're going to be able to use stable coins. And I forgot the third one.
Competition, marketing.
Well, this market, I've been 20 years in this market basically, and what you've seen is that an explosion. Everybody got in, and people are getting out now, but this market is still growing. Hotels are becoming a niche. Now, the market, like more and more people are discovering the possibility to rent apartments instead of hotels. And so this market is growing. There is space for everybody. Many people will leave, especially those who don't manage properly or don't optimize the processes, which is, I would say, at least 50% of improvised hosts. So the market is here to stay and to grow, and there is space for everybody.
We have one more question over there. So last question, and then we'll move to the next topic.
Okay, but it's not really a question. I just wanted to suggest to the holders that outside there's a cryptomate. They can put some cash in it, pay for the trip, and hold their ethers.
Okay, so there's a crypto ATM machine, right? The
It's not a problem to use fiat money to pay for this because there's just a crypto machine outside.
You can put your cash in and it can still go via their platform and pay for the property. And take advantage of the escrow that gets paid directly to the...
So you can sleep with your ethers in your wallet and use cash for this trip.
It's really early. I mean, there's no enough density, and not everybody is using them. So it's really early for using coins, crypto as a mean of exchange, except for stable coins. We're going to get there. This is a long-term project. All of ours are long-term projects.
Multi-decade, 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
It's not a classic startup that in 2 years is done or bust. This is... Say again?
Probably when we get to that.
When we get at that stage, it's too late in the day. Well, that's thank you very much. Very interesting.